Light, and there was light. Okay, so my camera on my phone has gone a little bit funny, and so was mine on my computer. And for some time, I haven't been using the camera on my computer, my laptop. But I thought if something can go bad, then perhaps there is a chance of something going good too, without trying. Just like when something goes bad, because we just tend to think that things go bad and they can't sort of remedy themselves unless we do something. Now, this picture is not as sharp as I would really like it to be, but it's looking far better than I last used it. It looks like it has improved. So there we are. Uranus is doing Uranus thing, running. I'm running away from one camera to another now. Okay, so let me take the time to welcome you and thank you. My name is Crime Queen, or my name is Shakti Nave, to be more precise. I'm giving my full name here, and of course also known as Crime Queen. Okay, so you are tuned in to Crime Queen on YouTube. Yes. Okay. I'm really loving this. I'm really loving this. Now I want to talk about my dream, which I have spoken of, but I just felt that it needed a bit more clarity and elaboration because there is so much essence to all of this, and it'd be nice to really capture the essence of that because we all dream and we all are not all of us are very good at interpreting dreams or even taking the time to find out what they mean. But perhaps when we hear somebody else's story, we then begin to think, oh well, I've dreamt about that. I wonder if it means the same thing for me, and so on. That's how we explore and we share and we learn. Okay. And I believe that there are fundamental principles or essence or um, symbols or representations of dreams, but not necessarily that a dream means everything the same thing for everyone, depending on your lifestyle, your personality, your values. I think your values play a very big role in the dreams as well, your emotions and your how you deal with things in the waking life. So that's why how I am able to make a lot of sense of my dreams. So there I was. I may not do this all very um, to put it this way, methodically, but or I started doing something here. Let's just to have more clarity on this. So this is me. Um, Dancing to the light before I would walk in a very narrow pathway. So I was dancing to the light. I saw the light and it looked so good. And I was wearing a very short mini skirt. It made of calico. Now it's cotton. So cotton is very natural. I like that idea. But it in the vision as well, I couldn't help but think that it's like I was being mummified in the skirt, the way the calico was wrapped in the layers as if was a mummy to some extent. So there was a bit of lucid dreaming right there as well. Although I was with. In fact, I do call it's my welcome or my acknowledgement to the fifth dimension. So I was wrapped in this calico, which was not pure white. It was off-white. Calico usually is, and this is the cotton fabric that fashion designers or people in the clothing industry usually use this to make the toiles and so on. And so I had the bodice part wrapped to the same. So basically, my waistline was exposed, and the skirt was really on my the just covering my rear, so to speak. And so it was. I was conscious about. not moving, that I would be exposed. So there's this part of the dream that I hadn't really explored in its definition. So there's a thing about feeling exposed, where you can't hide truth anymore, and it's like you are faced with every aspect of yourself. And that to me was something, because it was my backside I was really concerned with, not meaning that the light was reflecting. Before raising my hands to dance to the light and acknowledge the light, I became conscious about what was behind me. So there's the thing we do as well. We sometimes people say, you don't, what's past is past, and maybe that was a metaphor in a way for me to now let go of the past completely, which is what moving into the fifth dimension is about. So letting go completely and trusting implicitly that where I am at is okay. I'm all right there. I'm all right, Jack. So this I thought was really significant, because I got to the stage of thinking, well, you know what? Whatever shows, it doesn't matter anyway. And it just didn't matter. And I thought, whoever sees me, I don't care anyway. I'm going to dance to the light. I'm going to dance to the light. It's this feeling, perhaps, of all the dreams I have had or visions I have had, and this to me was very like a lucid dream anyway. And it has left perhaps the sweetest feeling in me, because every time I remember it, there is like a honey sensation in my heart. It's just beautiful. So that part of the dream came, and of course this coincide very well with my next step, which in my first part of the vision I was trying to remember which came first. But then I walked through this, should I call it I called it a tunnel in the presentation, but it was like a path. So I could see this long muddy path. It is the mud. It's like a tractor or something has cut cut that path. It was a very neatly cut path. It was like sculptured. It was like a razor blade sharp on all sides, and then on both sides. And then I walked through that path. I was also concerned about how my my emotions were, just before going through the path. I was concerned about my feeling. I checked in with my feeling before going through the path. So again, that was another opportunity, or like a conscious thing that I did, to say, okay, I am really conscious about what is happening. I am conscious that I am moving into another dimension. It's a different paradigm altogether. I don't know how far it is that I've got to go. I don't know how long. In fact, it seemed like in a split second that I could almost freak out, thinking, what if it is like miles, because this thing is about 2 meters high or more, and what if I can't get out, that it's endless. But these were questions that sort of came, and it was like, you know what, I'm going through it anyway, because I recognized that I could not allow the fear factor of that scenario to keep me back. And so this is another thing that I let go of, that fear. I feel that these were parts of the dream that was so important to explain, because you may be going through something quite similar, or you may have gone through something quite similar and had not taken time to understand the significance. So going, it was a very rich soil actually. The path was of rich dark soil. So I know about soil, and I remember even in the dream that when someone had said to me that, the darker the soil, it's the richer it is, the better it is for planting food and so on. And in that vision as well, with the soil, I also um, saw that the soil was moist, and it was moist. It was not just dry soil, it was moist. It was like a chocolate cake, rich chocolate cake. So that was really, really nice. Okay. What else that I want to, yeah, I want to speak on the oils, of course, that I also made reference to. But before going through the oils that I made reference to, I've got to talk about this again, something that happened because oh, I wanted to, okay, so there was the number, in fact, my last presentation before the long break, before my birthday, was on the 13th. So I did say I would check the date on this. So it was the 13th of May, which was 5. So this would be 4 and 2. So let's just do this just to get an idea of so this is 4, 5, this is 9 plus 2, it would be 11. So 11 here, of course, is like 2. When we do the numerical value for the word 2, let's look at this. We see 6, 5, 2, and adding this together would be 13. We see, so we can see right here how the numbers, let's just make sure you could see this because the camera is not at well, we are hoping for a good camera. We're going to see what wonderful miracles can happen here. So there we are with 13, and we see the, so 2 here. In fact, the day of the 15th of May, which is what I was preparing for, which was my birthday, as I continue to say, that also added and May, it came to look 15, 5, and the year is a 2 year. So when we add this together, this is 6, of course, 6, 5, 2. Of course, this is also 13. Okay, and my last presentation, it might have come, I'm believing that it's also a 13 number, or was it an 18, or it was a 9 number. So because I remember saying that I'm birthing newness now, because the number, there's the thing, we always see 9 as the end. But the 9 is really beginning. It's new beginning. Where there is an end, there is a new beginning anyway. So the word beginning equals 9. And so without really planning this as such, but the number became, when I did my presentation revealing this vision, it was also it was 9. So of course, that to me is very significant. It's really, really, really delicious. Oh, I haven't used this word for a while, but now it is, because I go how I feel. So now this is, to me, is very edible. So this is where Mother Eve is like saying, let us make man in our image after our likeness. And this is where I am wanting to eat of the fruit. It's a new thing now. Okay. So, the other part of my dream that I want to also mention, just in case you have watched the first part, which I will put the reference to the second part, or let's just do a new thing here. Okay, yes. So I had in this vision as well. As let's take a, yes. Okay. Yes. So once I went through this muddy path, once I decided to not allow fear to hold me back, literally, I was thinking of that in the vision. I will not allow myself to be fearful. I will let go of that. And I just made my few steps. in no time, in fact, I was out of that path seemingly quicker than the length of what I had seen in as the path, or what I felt it would have lasted to walk the distance that I had seen. I Everything now in my vision is just happening so speedily, just as I hear with some of the astrologers say things will be happening quite quickly. Whether I have taken this information and acted on it, however it is, but that's how it's been playing out for me. So this is what has been happening. So I got onto into a house. The house would be on my to my left, and it's of course on the hedge, and it's um, um, there I met with two female and a child. As I say, I was playing with the child, and the child was dancing quite neurotically, I felt, but it almost seemed like an erotic dance, but I would say more neurotically. And then I looked at the child on the floor, moving its belly as though it was a worm, like this on the floor. And I thought, oh, and I again there in that vision at that stage, I was conscious not to make any judgments. It's as if I was conscious that I had left all this behind and was not going to make any comments about that. And I just went, oh, it's like I just shook it off. And not to dismiss the child. When I was leaving, I called the child back to give the child 3 coins, £3, and those £3 in the child's hand had turned to coppers and silvers and lots of money. So basically the child had lots of money. So there's the thing that happened. While I was leaving, the child called me back and gave me lots of silver coins. The silver coins would have seemed like 50 pence pieces, or Eastern Caribbean dollars, the coins. So they were silver coins. They were large silver coins. In fact, some of them seemed even larger. And I felt again, I was in that receptive mode. I was honored to receive. I knew about the essence of receiving, and I felt, oh wow, thank you. So that was really another delicious part of the vision. Now, what happened in the waking life? It would have been, let's see. So if that was on 18th, the 18th or the 19th, that vision happened, and the 18th or the 19th, and it would perhaps maybe a week after or so. So I was cleaning my bins, the bins and rubbish bins, and I was cleaning the top, and I thought, oh, okay, I thought I would even sterilize it with hot water and just do that stuff. And to my amazement, well, it's not the place I would have expected to be picking up so many coins. So behind the bin was loads of coins. They were all coppers, all copper coins. So, wow, it looks like I was also the child in that dream. Okay, so I picked up the coins, and there we are. I counted, of course, I washed it and sterilized the coins as well. And of course, a big thank you. And I counted the coins, they were in 2 pence pieces and 1 pennies. So, of course, that would be 3. But also, there were 75 pence. 7 plus 5 is 12. 12, 1 plus 2 is also 3. So we can see how free is reflecting here for me. Now, I don't know. I was trying to do this video before, so I don't think I have spoken about this. I'm going to speak about another part of the dream that I really want to elaborate on. But again, as I say, let's take before we move on, let's look at the magic of number three, which is that can form the M or the three or E or W. So there we are, of course, and we have an eight-petal flower, which is what Mother Eve has called us in the eighth dimension, the fifth and the eighth dimension. Okay, now if you're new to this channel, I just really want to quickly introduce you to Mother Eve. Of course, the light in here does not reflect the best of Mother Eve right now, but apart from all of this, she's really quite sweet. She is really the mother of unconditional love, who really beckons us to her side to teach us how that we can crawl on the belly like the child. Perhaps I'm just now talking about this since I have received the 75 pence. I am now believing that I am the child. So I actually gave myself the token of love, the token of, well, and in money, I have been waiting for this too. I am now open and receptive to all the financial abundance, because it has not been my focal point, considering I'm a Taurus. I do recognize that I operate best when I am spiritually filled, and so I felt that that was necessary to concentrate on my spirituality now and knowing now. So I believe that there's a message saying that my abundance is really sure, and that's financially too. So the child now, I am relating this dream. I feel the child is myself. I have been in tune with myself and been ready to give to myself. Totally ready, giving to myself that which I deserve. So I gave myself the pounds, and I also now, of course, the 75 pence that I got is really symbolical. Seven as the number of creation, we could say 6 days of creation, the seventh day of rest, which is complete there. But the number five, which is Mother Eve, of course, that is which I was just reading about, the fifth day as well. This is when it was on the fifth day that Mother Eve called things into all a life from the waters, so abundant life from the waters. So the waters came alive, or the life forms that came from the waters was on the fifth day, according to Genesis of chapter 1. So, and of course, all of those things are very significant for me, because the number five, of course, I have three fives in my date of birth. I'm the fifth child. I'm one of 14 children. Of course, 1 plus 4 is also five. And so, all these, in fact, my name, Shakti, also equals five, which is 23. By the way, I had this 23 there, and I had not realized the correlation was so succinct then. So really believing there's 23, 23, 23 on the screen. This is what this is now the number that I see everywhere. I didn't even know there was a movie until a few weeks ago, or perhaps a couple months ago, about 23. I haven't watched all of it, but there is something about 23. It had both its negative and positive, but it's the number that seemed to follow me it's part of me. I'm now accepting it. Okay, so it's 23, nearly 24 minutes now. Okay, so part of the other part of this dream was that I was in a house and I was in the middle floor. So there were three floors: the ground floor, the middle floor, the top floor. There was a woman cleaning. Well, I wouldn't even say cleaning, but decluttering. And she was like a house doctor. That's how I could refer to her. But I know that in this vision, she was doing a therapeutic work. It was a therapeutic work. So, and I knew this, even if I couldn't see, and I was conversing with her, but I'm not sure I was conversing with her verbally. It just seemed more telepathically. And there she was, putting those oil. She had put the bottles of oil on the steps. Of course, the steps between the second and the third floor, and but this was all to be done. Before the other residents of this house came back, which was two or three. There were three women. There were three women, like a woman with her two daughters. Okay, so I was really keeping an eye open to make sure that they didn't come and disturb what was happening or intervene or for some reason, or whether it was part of their room as well, and that they would not contest to what was happening. So I was the watcher. I was the watcher of all these activities taking place. So yes, so by the time I could say to her, "Oh, they are coming, they're here now," um, for some reason it seemed like she already knew. So halfway down the stairs, she's already coming down the stairs. So she'd already known this communication was happening. It's like she knew my thoughts and I knew her thoughts. So I went down to try and, of course, engage after a while, engage about the oil. So there were 9 bottles of oil and that had oil. Not all of them were filled, and there were 4 empty bottles. So of course 9 and 4. I might have said this before. Forgive me if I'm repeating this because I was recording already on recording this information and I had to delete, so I'm not even sure whether I'm really referring back to this because it got cut off. Um, Now, so of course, there we are talking about 9 plus 4 is 13. So that's another 13 that was happening, um, the number 13, as I have just made reference to. Uh, there was turquoise on the ground floor, and the house was surrounded by water, and the waters were blue, and I could see the wave. They were deep waters on the ocean, and of course I was encouraging the one of the ladies to um, give the place a facelift and just go over the same color that was already there, which was turquoise, blue, and turquoise. And which she agreed to. Now, on this, which like my friend helped me interpret this dream as well, which he felt, and I'm in agreement with that the watcher was also the person doing the decluttering. So I was really the person doing the decluttering on the top floor. Wow. Now, this is what happens when we are talking, and it's important to talk about our dreams or write it out because the interpretation is coming through. Now, what I am getting, there were three females downstairs, and I'm one of 4 daughters to my mother. So there is something very significant there. I am getting the feeling or the impression here that I am paving a path, or I am representing a healing that is taking place, or the activity was a sort of healing that was taking place in our house. My house, it wasn't just my house, it was the other female, three female lived there as well. But there were 4 bedrooms to that ground level. I knew there were 4 bedrooms. There were more rooms, but there were 4 bedrooms. I knew that. So there we are talking about. I have 3 sisters and myself. That's 4 female. So I am thinking that there is something, but I was not occupying those rooms downstairs anymore. They were occupying those rooms. However that sounds, just going with how the dream is unfolding right now. And of course, but they were in agreement to give the place a facelift. And of course, as I say, the color turquoise is the color of healing. So as it is known, not as I say, as it is known. So, and of course, the waters, the ocean is that of healing as well, and the house was surrounded by waters, those waters. So the woman who, of course, was doing the decluttering was, of course, when I alerted her. How I knew of the 4 bedrooms is that I couldn't discern exactly which of the rooms to take her in, because I instinctively realized that the rooms were the ladies' rooms. And so even if there were spare rooms, then I knew as well in that vision I had to rely on my intuition. I knew that I had to rely on my intuition to get her out through the right door or into the right room. But the room that I sent her, or the door that I opened and put her in, it was daylight outside. I could see that. Now, that's another thing that I had mentioned in the first presentation on this subject. So I knew I could see it was daylight. So, and the sun was very bright. The sun was very bright outside. Not that it was very dark inside, but it was extremely bright outside. And I also was having the conversation with the ladies. It seemed we were getting on really well and really just talking. And I made reference, oh, well, if when you give this place a facelift, it's going to match the ocean perfectly. To me, that is a very strong statement. Give the place, when you give that wall a facelift with the same color, which was turquoise and blue, it will match the ocean perfectly. So there I'm talking about the decluttering that was taking place, the therapeutic healing, and I am advising or reassuring the other female downstairs that the whatever action that they take is going to be, basically, it's going to marry or gel with Mother Eve perfectly. It's like saying what to do to get that healing. It's like saying what to do to be in that fifth dimension, or to acknowledge oneself or Mother Eve or where they're at. But that is all about healing as well. So I think that that was a very profound dream. Of course, as I'm talking about it, more has been revealed to me, as I say, about 4 female. Now, again, we are talking about the word female also equals number 3. Just Mother Eve is just, let's use the other board. So the word female, female, of course, is 654,135. Adding this together, this is 5 plus 4 is 9, and this would be 9, 10. This is 13. 13 plus 11, of course, is 23. Oh, have I done this correct? Let's do this again because I think female is 21. This is how it feels for me. I may be wrong, but um, because I'm going, my eyes dance when I am counting. Okay, right. So this is 10, 15, 20, 24. So female is 6. Okay, is 6, not 3. So 6, of course, we are talking about 6, which is again the number of man. Okay, um, going back, because what Mother Eve has said is that what had happened in Genesis of chapter 1, this creation, this formation made, and all these settings and divisions and all those things that took place, they get into this other cycle, the eighth dimension, fifth, eighth dimension. This is where things get set. It's a new phase. This is a new phase. This is a new. So it's we are now taking this new 6, new number of man, if you like, new 6, and reforming. This is where Mother Eve calls and say, let us make man in our image after our likeness. This is where it's important to define what that likeness is, what that image is going to be, what is expected of us in these dimensions. I'm wondering if there's anything else for me to add to this, because I don't think I really will be going over this particular vision again. I have many visions. I want to share this with you because I think this is also reflecting the journey that we have done for this past year. Of course, it's for me, it's my whole life, but what we have been talking about on YouTube with these presentations, where we have been talking about Mother Eve, with where she done her lettings, the lettings in Genesis of chapter 1, where she says, let there be light, and let there be a firmament, and let there be, all these lettings. This is where we have come to, and that is really presented to us quite succinctly here in those visions of really confirming where we are at now. I hope you have enjoyed this. It's just well, to me, it's a delicious place to be. Yes, and it's like I'm eating of a fruit here. Um, is it a mango? Is it a Sharon fruit? Is it an apple? I don't think it's an apple anymore. Let's go for, or is it moringa seeds? Moringa seeds are bitter, but they are very good, and I swear by them. So I try to have at least 2 every day. Moringa actually equals 5. So let's just go for moringa. Let's go for moringa for now. Okay, thank you. And spill over with love.